Okay, so tonight I am going to show how to play Right of Way Eastward Bound. It's something that I've been working on. I'm the board game designer, and I guess I went into a little bit of wanting to make a demo for publishers to check out my latest project that I was working on, and this is kind of what happened. Um, I showed it to my playtesters and was asking for advice and was working on it, and I didn't show it to many people, but both of them said, this is good as a video game. You should probably consider staying in that lane with this. I'm still trying to show it to publishers, board game publishers, but of course, I'm not going to say no to trying to develop it into something more like a video game. I mean, it is a video game, but of course, graphically, it's not great. It's just, it's a prototype. Anyway, so I've got it on Stitch IO, and this is the page in front of me in Stitch. When you first encounter it, you'll come to this page, which just basically says that it's a proof of concept. It's not for commercial distribution, whatever. So here, we just click, and then we're bombarded with all this information. So here, there's a config. So you can click it and change some of the things that are happening in the game. It doesn't have a whole lot that you can mess with, but I would suggest not screwing with that because I think it's pretty well. It's got a really good balance right now. About, of course, it's just me. How to play. There's two versions of how to play. So when you go to how to play, here's a very basic. Let's get started. But what you'll probably want to do, especially if you like board games, is read the full rules. But that's what I'm here for, just to get you through a game and then explore it. It's a roguelite, so a roguelike. So a lot of the fun is going to be exploring. So what I like to do is a daily challenge. Of course, you can start a standard run. If you want to write a seed, you put a seed here and just put start run. If you've done a few runs, you'll get some points and you can go access the perk store. The perk store still needs some work. I didn't really work on it too much. That's something that's still in development. It does have a perk store. It's not balanced or anything, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to do there as far as perks. The stuff that it has right now are just placeholders. Some of it might stay, some of it might change, whatever. Anyway, so let's start a daily run. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is cut off this music. I do like my music, but okay. So on this first screen, basically, let me explain something. If you're from the 18xx world or Cube Rail world, or played Win Some Games, what we're looking at is 3 different starting IPOs, and that's the middle thing we're going to see here. These are 3 companies. Okay, these 3 companies start at 15, 20, 25. At first, it's not going to be that big of a deal, but as you start playing, you start realizing that the Central Pacific, the CP, has more stock and more rail. It starts out with more. If you go to the OR and R, it has the lowest amount of stock, which means it has the potential to make you the most money early on. I'll explain that later. And the I think it's the Grand National, I think is the name of the railroad, the GN, has a balance in between the two. On the extreme end, you might usually start the game thinking you want the highest stock value in the Central Pacific. These are all 3 railroad companies, and you're just basically starting where the stock market starts. If you don't know anything about those types of games, don't worry about it. What the biggest part that you need to look at is this 9 still, 8 still, 14 still. Now, those are random within a selection of numbers. This is basically how much steel you're contracted to buy to play the game. So basically, we're going from the West Coast. We're going to try to travel all the way through the Rockies into the Rust Belt and try to find our way into Chicago. It's fictionalized, not like Chicago Express where you're going from the East Coast to Chicago. We're going from the other side. Okay, so right here, you're contracted to buy 14 pieces of steel a round. We have 12 rounds at $5 a piece of steel. Here, 8. Here's 7. I would suggest go to the middle. If you've never played before, just go in the middle. Just choose the one that's not the highest and not the lowest, because everything here, you'll need experience to figure out the way to play, because they all play very differently. And so we're going to choose the heavy haul, which is actually we're going to choose 9 pieces still in the middle, or we might not. Okay, on the bottom is a bonus, and those are randomized too. There's basically a set of bonus perimeters that are just randomly given. Here, the lowest company, which is the Central Pacific, which already starts out with the most railroad track, will get 3 more segments. And that's a lot in this game, because you start out with like 7, I think, for the Central Pacific. So 3 is quite a bit. This is really awesome to start out with $30 in a treasury of a company. You start out with 100. I'll explain that in a moment. And this one allows the highest tier, which is going to be the ORNN, will start with 25 extra dollars in its treasury. We're going to go ahead, since I said we're going to do the middle. We're going to do 9 pieces of steel a turn. So at $7. Okay, so now we're into the game. Okay, the number that you need to look at over here is this gold number. Your net worth, meaning the money that you have tied up in stock and liquid, all of it is $100. Now, actual cash on hand is 100. That's how much money you can spend. So that's liquid cash. So right now, all of our assets and everything are liquid. It's $100. At the top, you can see the red company. This is at the very top is basically a stock market. You'll see where stock is at. So like right here, red stock is at $15 a stock. Light blue or teal or whatever you want to call that color is $20. I guess it's cyan. Royal blue is $25 a stock. So the Grand National, the Great Northern, that's it. The Great Northern is at $25 a stock. If you want to buy a stock, it's $25. If you go down here to the ORNN, $20 a stock, and if you go down here to the Central Pacific, it's $15, just like it is up here. When you buy stock, it'll shift it and it'll be worth $5 more. So the cool thing about that is that you can make money just by buying stock. So the game premise is you're an investor, and here are the 3 companies. If you played 18XX, you already know this. We're trying to get these 3 railroad companies. Out of these 3, we're trying to get one all the way across this map through this line. This line is a federal grant zone. If you cross that line, you'll get $350. This is the mountains. So this is the Rockies. The price to build there goes up a little bit. And then we've got the Rust Belt. So somewhere in this section that's called the Rust Belt, Chicago's in there, and it's unknown at this point where it's at. These are the 3 starting places. Let me go ahead and make them larger. These are the 3 starting places. So the Great Northern starts up here at Seattle. If you mouse over it, you can see the name of the town, and you can see how much income it provides for a railroad. So here it provides 5. Here, Portland, the headquarters for the ORNN, provides 5. And if you go down here to San Francisco, that one produces 5 as well. And that one is for the Central Pacific. Okay, so these little lines here are links. So you're building these links to go across. As you go further to the right, you'll see that they start becoming exposed. It's like 1 link away starts becoming exposed. 2 links away shows the linkage, but not the city. So if you mouse over these cities, you can see, like this one, when we go there, it provides $15 worth of income. This one provides 5. This one provides 10. If you look at the linkage, it says how many tracks it takes and how much money you make. And I'll explain that a little bit better later. The important thing to know is up here at the top, it says $100 in safe. I've put a little bit of a padding in the game. If you meet or exceed $300, then we start comparing how much money you have versus the Baron. The Baron's this little dude down here. Like if we push him, you can see his ledger. Over here, you can see this purple number, how much money he has in cash and how much money he has, just like us. If he starts acquiring property and stock certificates and whatnot, he'll have some that's liquid and some that is just his gross. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we'll need to buy a stock so that we can manipulate a company. We can't do anything with these companies. See, on the build track, they're grayed out because we don't have any stock in these companies. We have $100. The companies have $0 in their treasury. Even if they had money, they wouldn't do anything because, well, we couldn't do anything with them because we don't have any interest in them. I don't mean like money interest. I mean like we don't own money in it, so we don't have a controlling interest. So most of the nodes are this gray color, and they just provide money. But we have special nodes, and right now in the map, you can see these are towers. These towers, instead of exposing only one, well, I'll show that. So let's go here. We'll go to the Great Northern. We'll buy one stock at 25. Okay, so now its treasury says 25. Now it's opened up the build track. Problem is, for it to build, it's got 3 choices. All of those choices are the gray nodes. This node is worth $10. This one's worth 5. This one's worth 15. The one that's worth 15 is $32 to build to. We only have $27 in the company. We own one stock of it. If you look down here, you see when we bought it was 25, and because when we bought it, it went up by 5. Because somebody had bought a stock of blue, it'll go up by 5. If we sell a stock of blue, it'll go down. That's why it's we have $105 worth total, but liquid we only have $75. If we want to build this one that's 32, we need to get more money in this treasury. It only has $25. It needs $32. Now we're not buying this track. What we're doing is we're buying stock, which gets money into the companies, and that money is used by the company in their treasury to build track. Now you can see here it says 1 to 6 shares. So this company only has 6 shares. So that's 6 opportunities to put money in the company. It comes with 7 track. It has 0 income right now because that $5 that we looked at over here for Seattle is for another company to build there to get the income. But since this is its headquarters where it first starts, it doesn't get any income. It doesn't have any money. So when we go down to here, when we need to get more money in there, so we'll buy another stock. So now it's got $55. Noticed, now we're at $115. Because we have bought 2 stocks, it went up $10, and we own those stocks. So we didn't lose money. We lost our liquid, but it's still money that we could still sell these shares and get our money back. And we have this as our net worth. And our net worth is what the game calculates the score on, not liquid. Okay. So that's one part. So we're going to buy this in a moment. But the really cool, interesting part is here's this track. So I've got to explain steel a little bit. Steel might be a little bit confusing. Okay. So when you build this track, it takes an amount of steel plus labor plus terrain to come up with this $32. Now, all that math is done internally. What you need to know is that we're double dipping here. besides buying stock and manipulating these companies to move from the west to the east and buying track and whatnot, we are double dipping where we're buying stock. We have that money and that income for having shares. Also, we're exclusively selling steel to each one of these companies, and they buy $10 of steel. I mean, they pay $10 per steel. So if you look at this, this is 2-track to build it. It says it's in yellow. Our color is yellow. They will give us $20 to build this right here. They'll give us $20 to build that one because it takes 2 segments of track, and same there. Now, if we look at this $18 one there's only 1 segment of track. They'll pay us $10. This $18, 10 of it goes to us, and the 8 kind of disappears because there's this internal number called, labor and terrain. Okay, so these 2 tracks are going to pay us $20. 32 are going to be paid from the company. It has $55. It's going to lose $32, but 20 of that's going to go into our pocket, which is pretty cool. What you need to know is at the beginning of the game, I'm really nice as a designer, and I give you some steel for free. I give you 3 segments of steel for free. And you're like, what does that mean? Well, over here, you'll see green, you own 3. We're contracted to buy 9, so we must buy 9 by the beginning of the next year. So what happens is, I've got this Slay the Spire kind of a thing. These cards represent the steel that we're going to use. Green steel is steel that we don't have to purchase. Blue steel we must purchase from the Baron at the contracted price that we agreed. We agreed at $7 a steel. And then after the blue deck, we go to the green deck. The green deck is segmented into sections of 4. The first 4 purple cards you play, or first 4 steel that you use or consume whenever you're into the purple deck, are worth, they cost $15 each to you. So in other words, they're a loss to you because you're buying them at $15 a steel, and the company is paying you $10. This is called emergency steel or imported steels or getting screwed by the Baron. You're contracted to buy this steel right here, the blue steel and the purple steel. You're buying them from the Baron. He is our steel provider. We contracted to buy at the very beginning of the game 9 pieces of steel at $7 each. That's how much we need to use around, or we're going to buy that steel one way or another. We might not use it, but we're going to buy it. So we're buying that from the Baron. So every time we buy steel, he makes money. We own 3. When it's green, we already own it. We're not paying the Baron. We probably already paid the Baron or whatever, but I'm nice as a developer and I gave you 3 pieces to start with. After that, we'll have 9 that are blue that you must pay, and you'll pay $7 each. So if you're buying the steel for $7 and the companies are paying you $10, your profit is $3 every time you lay down a blue piece of steel. And then when we get to purple, then we're at a loss. We don't make money. We buy these, we buy them one at a time, but in lots of 4. So the first 4 will cost you $15. After that, I believe it jumps up to 25. And then it jumps up another 10 and jumps up another 10. Or it might jump up another 15. I think I set it to 15 last. So basically, after the first 4 purple steel that you use, it goes up by 4. Then by 15. So you're spending more money to build. Your turn ends whenever you want it to. Down here, you see end of year. You just click it. If you're under, at the end of the year, it does a calculation. If you're under $300, don't worry about it. If you're over $300, you must be making more money than the Baron or the game will end. You have 12 turns, so basically 12 years. So let's go back to where we were at. We bought 2 shares. The first one cost us 25 and the second one cost us 30. Now, if we want to build this one because this income is $15. We think it's better than going 5, better than going 10. Okay, so we have these 3 cards. We'll look at the inspector. We have these 3 cards. These represent the steel that we're going to use. So this is the steel deck and this is the conveyor belt. We can move cards around on the conveyor belt, and I'll explain why in a minute, but we can't move between colors. Well, it's only green can move with green, blue can move with blue, and so we change order. The one that's in this rightmost spot is the number 1. That's the one that's going to be triggered if we build 1 piece of steel. If we build 2, the 1 and 2 will be used. If we build 3 pieces, we'll be using all 3 cards. I think only once I've seen a 4 length. It's procedurally generated. It's very rare for 4 links. It's even rare for 3 link. 2 links the most common. Okay, so what we can do is we can look at this card here. This card waives the cost of 1 steel contract for you. So basically the first steel will cost you 0. It usually costs you 7. You're supposed to buy 9. So in that $10 that the company's going to pay for steel, it's going to go directly to you, and you don't have to give the Baron his $7 for it. So that's cool. It waives the first blue one. The program's already set to automatically do that. So if you look here in this corner, I don't know if you can see it in the inspector. No, you can't. If you see it on this corner, it says it costs 0. This one says it costs 7. These 3 say they cost 0. Here's something we should look at that's very important to look at. Let's look at Legacy Plate. Legacy Plate is you gain $25 if this company builds from headquarters or Union Yard. Union Yard is a different type of node. Remember, most of them are gray. We have an observation tower available, or here, but all these are just regular standard cities. We have a headquarters right there. So if we move this one to the first spot, this will trigger when we build the steel because we're building from headquarters. This one wants to give us, which one? This one wants to give us $5 for every standard. So every gray city that we have, it'll give us $5, which is within our company's network. So what we can do is we'll try to combo. It checks it after the build. So the first build, we're going to do Legacy Plate, which will give us $25. And then we'll do, it'll trigger, since it's 2 segments, we'll use 2 cards. We're going to trigger this waiver, which it automatically figured it. You'll waiver the price of the first blue card here. And then this one we'll put last, and you can change the order here in a minute. This one is going to give us $5 per gray node. So if we want to maximize our turn, we're gonna go build track. We'll go to here, see those 2 got used. Boom, those are in the discard pile. And then also, if you want to look here in the ledger, you can see that it triggered. And we got some money to our hand. And we wavered that first thing, which it automatically figured it out. If we could build to another grade node, we get $10. So why don't we do that? This segment here is 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. It's going to cost us 2 to build anywhere. Also, if you can see in the tooltip, green, this one's actually 3 to build there. It costs 1 green still and 2 blue from what we have. So this first one's the green, and then we'll be in the blue deck. And then we've got this other node. And then we have another node, which I'll talk about in a minute. But right now, what we want is we want one of these gray nodes. This node is $30 for an income of 5. This one is a $36 for an income of 5. And this one progresses us further to the east. And that's important because we only have 5 track left. Remember, we started with 7, we used 2. We have basically 5 track permission to go forward. We can go to this one, this one, this. We can go to all these. I'm going to choose to go to this one so I can get an extra $5 because this one's going to trigger and give us $5 per standard. Here's one standard one, and this will be a second standard one. That's going to give us $10. Okay, but we have these blue cards. Blue cards suck for us usually. Blue cards are ways for the Baron to make money. This first one, the ORNN, it basically gives the Baron, he buys a stock of the ORNN. That could be bad or could be good. That's a whole strategy thing. But he'll buy a stock here, so which means that he'll gain $5 plus he'll have assets, and I'll talk about income in a moment. Let's say we don't want that. Then we have this one. Boom. Baron gains $10 for every total node in this company's network. That's not great. Let's see this one. Baron gains 15% for every share issued. You plus the Baron. Okay, so that's not too bad right now because we're early in the game. We've bought 2 shares. He will get, on this thing, he'll get $20. Actually, I think I looked at the wrong one. Actually, it's this one, right? Sure. $15 for every share issued. So that would be $30 if I put that in the beginning, from the front. This one is Baron gains $10 for the total nodes in this company's network, so maybe $20 is better than $30. All right, so this one's going to be free, so we're going to get $10 from the company for building. Where we're going to go? We're going to go to here, which is going to take 1 blue and 1 green, 1 blue. We're going to get $10 from the company for building that. We're going to get $10 from that. We normally have to buy that for 7, but since we use a special card, it costs 0. So we can build this one right here. No problem for $30. Oops. I like doing it this way. You can click on the link, you can click on the node, and you'll have a menu. It's easier for just to click here and just boom. Oh, I don't have enough money. I have $23. So what do? Buy another stock. All right, $58. I'm at 55. This one has $58 in its treasury. I'm going to click here. It gave me some money back from that. Okay, so let's talk about these nodes. This one it has an income of 15. This one has an income of 5. So together, that's an income of 20. And you'll see over here, it says income 20. So the total amount of money that this company makes is $20. But it has shares. It's got to pay to its shareholders. It has 6 total shares. 3 of those shares are mine. If you see mine, it says you 3, Baron 0. I've got 3 shares. So each share is going to pay me $4 at the end of the turn, because you can see out here, at $20 income, they're paying $4 a share, dividends at the end of the month. So right now, each share is worth $4. I have 3 shares, so that's $12 that I'm going to get from that company at the end of the month. Now I can build more and see this one increases the income by 5, this one by 10, this one by 25, and so on. Each company, you'll be running these 3 companies. If you choose not to run a company, let's say you choose to end the year and you don't screw with the company, which we'll do that in a moment, the Baron gets interested in that company. Basically, if you go 2 years without touching a company, meaning buying stock or building, the Baron will buy a stock of there automatically. He'll acquire a stock. And then once he has interest in a company, meaning you did not have interest and basically you have a meter here, under here, that'll show there's like these 2 bars. When those 2 go to red and he buys a stock that next round, from then on, if you skip a turn using that company, he'll buy another stock. You don't want him to buy stock because that's besides owning shares, which are at the value of the shares, like I owned 2 shares, but now I own 3. Whenever I own 1 share, it went $5 up. So I bought it at 25, it went to 30, right? Then I bought it at another share, which the share value went up to 35. That meant I had 2 shares that went up, and 1 share went up twice and the other share went up once. I don't think too much about it, but the more shares you have in a company, and you go up by 5, each one of those shares is basically gaining $5. Plus, at the end of the round, you're making dividends. We're making $4 a share. You don't want to making dividends plus owning shares, which are going up in value when you're buying the shares. In general, you don't want the Baron to buy a bunch of shares. But also, if he buys a share, if you play 18xx, it injects money, or Q-Barrels, it injects money in the company. Okay. So we're into the blue. We used one of the blue. So if you see over here, we used one. We have 8 left. Remember, it used to be 9 total. So we're left buying 8. What we're going to do is we're going to ignore the ORN so I can show you the threat meter. Let's buy a share in the Central Pacific. All right, so we want to build this track right here. We only have $15. One share was at 15. Now the shares are at $20. So if you can see this little thing at the top moves to show you share value. I'll buy another share, right? Now it's got $25, 13 track. I own 2 of 5 shares. The income is 0 because I haven't built yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build to this tower to show you how it works. And if you can see this segment, it uses one segment. And it shows you in yellow, $10 to the player, $7 is to pay for the steel, $3 is what you're actually making profit here. I'm not going to switch the order. I'm just going to talk about this one card. This is the ORN. The Baron's going to buy a share if I let that card play. I normally wouldn't let it play unless I wanted to get money into the ORN that I didn't have on hand. So I'm going to let the Baron do that. I could move it around. I could put it at the end, put something that would trigger and not do anything. These trigger whenever you build the steel. So I'm going to let him, this one's going to trigger and the Baron's going to buy a share of the ORN. If you look at the ORN, no money in it. No one's got a share. Go down here to the Central Pacific. Build. We're going to build to the tower. This hostile buy means he bought a share. Look, his value went up. You look over here. One of 4 shares is gone. 3 are left. Baron owns 1. I own nothing. But the treasury has $20. And if you saw, it exposed. Going to that tower exposes more than by going here exposed, because the tower, that's a special ability. Each one of these things has a special ability. If you'll notice, 12 track does not look like it'll make it all the way over here. So you have depots, which give the company building to it 3 track. You have the Union Yard, which gives everybody 1 track. So these tracks will go up. So you'll need to look for ways to get track into the companies. And that might influence where all the companies converge. You've got this headquarters node. I'm not going to explain all the nodes because that's something you can explore. But this one gives a company 2 shares, which means the company, like if we did it for the, let's just build there. And we'll just explore what it's like to build there. Hopefully I have enough money to build all the way to there to show it. Okay, so I'm going to build to this standard node. It's going to take $30 in the company. It has 15. So, 17. I'll buy a share. It puts it to 42. I want to build this track here, because this going 30 and going 2 track is going to be cheaper than going 13 and 28. It's going to be less track to go straight across, and it's going to be cheaper. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the inspector. This card right here, I'm not going to explain them all because that's what the exploration of the game is kind of about. This one gives the Baron $150 if the company's building into the Rust Belt. Well, the Rust Belt's way in the hell to the right side, so we don't have to worry about that. So if we put that there, the Baron's going to get $0 for the card itself. We'll buy the steel from him, which means he'll make $7, but he's not going to make the card attribute as profit. Okay, so let's look at the hub fee. Bank pays Baron $50 for every node shared by this company and other companies. So there's no overlapping, so we don't have to worry about it. So these 2 pieces of steel are fine. He's not going to make anything but $14 because we're contracted to buy the steel. So when we go there, now there I am. I didn't click this. The other way I could do it is I could click the link, click there, name the companies, because if you have several companies that are adjacent, it'll tell you the companies and how much it's going to cost. Click there. That's the money the Central Pacific paid $30. Of that $30, we made 20. Of that 20, 14 went to the Baron. See, the Baron's at $155. All right. Let's go to the inspector. This card right here, the A, which I kind of hate, but I'm going to put it in the front. I'm not playing a serious game here. I'm just kind of showing how to play. This gives $10 for every card in the discard. So of all the cards in this discard area, he'll get $15 each. This one gives the Baron $30 for every signal tower, and we hit one signal tower. So it would be wise not to play it here. It would be wise to play it up here, but we're going to do it just to show you what's going on. If you want to see what cards you have in the discard, you can click on the color. If you want to look at the card itself, you inspect it this way. And if you want to look even more hardcore, you've got that. You can look at your deck, what you have in the deck, and it also shows you what's in the discard. It doesn't show you the order. The only order you get is the order from the discard because they're face up. It's like magic. Okay. The other thing, if you want to look at all your cards, you can go to audit here. Here's all your cards, all the cards in the purple deck and their special abilities in green and blue. That is a crucial part because that's how you'll make combos and whatnot. That's the audit button. You'll see here we've got 12. We're on month 12. Year 12. So we've got 12 years to make it to Chicago. And then here's our seed. Let's go ahead and get to here. We put those two cards in the front. This costs $36 to get to there, which will give us 3 track segments. We have 10 track segments, and we'll use 2, but it will gain 1. $12 plus $30, $42. Build hell. Boom. Now we have 11 track. And we only have 3 pieces of steel to buy. And then we'll get into the purple, which are $15 each, and you can see the little prices right across there. We're at $270. We're projected to be at $300 at the end of the turn, which means we're exposed to losing the game, which means it'll compare our net worth versus the Baron's net worth. The Baron's net worth is going to be his assets. So right now he owns the OR and N, but it doesn't have any nodes sticking out of it, so it hasn't built, so it's not going to make any. It's not going to make anything for the share. $0 per share because it doesn't have an income, so that's good. So I think I'm going to end the turn, even though I have $10. This company has 6. This one has 28. I could build back on myself here, but I'm not going to. But notice I didn't buy all my steel. I have 3 that I'm supposed to buy. I'm contracted to buy it. When I started the game, I said I'll buy it. I could have chosen less, but no, I chose 9. And of the 9, 3 are left. When I end the year, the game's going to force me to buy it. Okay. When it forced me to buy it, and I had $10, I didn't have enough to buy all the 3 steel. 3 steel's $21. I had $10. So the leftover is $11. So it's not magic. I owe $11, and I didn't have it. I owed $21 to buy 3 pieces of steel, and I only had $10 on hand, so the difference is $11. So I have to come up with a way to pay for that. So I need to sell I have to sell a share. So I'm just going to scroll over here. Each one of these shares pays $4. Each one of these shares pays $6. So I'm going to sell a Great Northern because it's going to give me less income. Okay, debt's cleared. Confirm. At the end of that, he ended up having, we tied with him. So 301 to 301, he wins in case of a tie. What I could have done is not built that one last thing, and I wouldn't have lost. There's still a couple of things I want to show you, so let's start another game. We'll do daily challenge. We'll choose the same thing again. Okay, so let's not lose. So what we're gonna do is we'll buy two shares, and we'll go to there. Let's go ahead and buy. I didn't manipulate that, so I screwed up. But I can still gain that $25 by building to. Oh man, I don't have enough money, so I'll just build to there. Build. Oh, I do have 45. I'll build to here because that's income's better. Okay, if I sell a share in a company, I can't use that company anymore, and I'll just demonstrate. So I sell. See, confirm sell. I cannot use that company anymore till the next year. So don't sell shares if you expect to screw with that company. Right here, I owe for 8, because I said I would buy eight pieces of steel. If I were to end the game right now, which in the year right now, boom, I had enough on hand, I guess, to pay for it. It cost, that's how much I made in revenue from the round, which is the 30. Whatever I had on hand, I had to go back. I had to buy 8 pieces of steel, 8 at, what did I contract to buy them at? $8 of steel. And I guess if you look through the ledger, you'll see that $64 penalty. Because he has more money than me. See, I'm at 136. This is a projection. I left it to project by 100, so it's not going to tell you exactly, but you'll know in the hundreds how close you are. We're safe. It's not going to judge where we're at. But notice we own right here. If you look in the green, we own 8 pieces of green. Now in the green deck, there's only 4 cards. What does that mean? That means that these 4 cards are gonna cycle until we use our 8 pieces of steel. And it's like, well, how did you get 8 pieces of steel? Well, we had to buy blue steel. We didn't use any during the round, and we freaking what happened was the game makes you buy that blue steel. So I bought it. I didn't use it, so I have it in storage. I bought 8. So right now I've got to use all 8 of these, which means it'll use 4 and then 4 again. It'll just cycle through these cards over and over and over until I use all 8, because 8 is how much we own. We own it because we've had to buy it at the end of the last round, at year 12. So now at year 11, we own 8 pieces of green. And we still have to buy another 8 blue. So we'll have 16 tracks to lay. Whatever we don't buy at the end of the round, we'll have to buy. And then it'll be green the next round. If you use all your blue steel, then you don't use any of these green cards. The green cards benefit you, so you'll want to use those in the early game so that they can get you extra money. But it's not a significant amount. Later on in the game, to make the real big bucks, you need to get into purple. But the purple costs a lot. So you have to be able to use all the blue steel and all your green to get to the purple. Purple has amazing effects. I'll just show you something. This one right here. Still $50 straight from the Baron. It just takes it from his pocket to yours. This one. It injects 7 segments of track right into the company that's using it. So these are really awesome. You don't want to get too addicted to them because those prices go up. 2 more things or 3 more things I need to tell you about. One is every time you fail to use all the steel during your round and the Baron forces you to buy them, you'll incur a penalty of $5. So at the end of the round, besides paying the $8 for the contracted steel for every piece of steel you didn't use, the first round is 0. So we bought those at $8 each for 8 of them. Now, whatever we don't use in blue, it'll be $8 plus another $5 per piece of steel we didn't use. So don't make it a habit not using the blue steel. You'll eventually need to use it all and start getting into a game where you need to start using the blue. And besides that, purple is really awesome. So, oh, there's another purple card I want to talk about. Audit Purge. No, not Audit Purge. Which one is it? I think it's not Proxy. It's Price Fix. It reduces the cost of the steel contracted by 1. The other one, is it Proxy Fight? Oh yeah. It liquidates. The Baron must sell shares of their largest holdings. So the company the shares that cost the most, he's got to sell them back to the company. So that's how you can get rid of his shares when he buys them, by getting into the purple deck. So just be wary of the penalty. Every time you don't use all the blue cards, you'll get a penalty. So be very wary of that. See, it's right here. It says $5 a unit. That's what that means. The parlor's really cool. I don't think I have enough money to make it to the parlor. If you can make it to a parlor node, it gives you 3 choices of cards. When you buy a card, it's a card that's a duplicate of one of the cards that's already in the game. You can buy it as a duplicate, or you can upgrade a card to the next level. Each one of the cards in the game has 3 levels. Depending on the card, I'll say that the blue cards, the second level negates, because remember, all the blue cards give the Baron money. It negates that. Like, it basically says this card does nothing. So you negate the worst cards in the blue deck for your current run. Or if you can upgrade that same card a second time, the benefit goes to you. So instead of it saying the Baron, it'll say you, and it'll do the exact same thing, which is pretty cool. The green cards all benefit you, so they just get better and better, and the purple cards get freaking amazing, especially at level 3. There's a reroll mechanism in the parlor. You'll want to go to parlors to get badass stuff. This projects that I'm safe, remember, because I'm under $100. Okay, the threat meter. Here's the threat meter. The threat meter says the Baron will buy a share if you neglected this turn, which means on the third turn, if you neglected this turn, which is the second turn, you'll see the borrow go 2 across. So that means on the next turn, the Baron buys a share. When the Baron buys a share, of course, the price goes in. Since I don't have any shares, I don't benefit from that. But if I did buy shares in it, it would go up. Every time a share is bought, it goes up by 5. There's other things in there like private companies, and I'll just have to let you explore that. That's a more deep kind of stuff. But I'll tell you that these little nodes that you can see, A, C, those are private companies. I'm having a little glitch here, but I don't know why it's a weird color like that. But these are private companies that you can buy through cards, and whenever you buy them, you can sell them to railroad companies for $1 up to double, which means you're basically embezzling money out of the company. And then the other thing is, when a company buys one of these private companies, one of these that's out here, it becomes an asset of that company. So, like, let's say I sell the Central Pacific E. I make an amount of money for selling it. It has another railhead, so it can start building out from there and start going around doing stuff. But remember, you only win if you start from your headquarters, go all the way across the map until you find Chicago. And Chicago is like a big yellow node over here. You'll know it when you see it, and you can mouse over it and see it. The cost over here sucks too, plus 25. When you go to Chicago, you must start from one of these nodes, and it's got to go all the way across and go over here. You could use one of these nodes to join back to the original node. I'll just have to let you explore it. because it's a roguelite, I would really like you to explore. You've got the basics. You can read the rule book and check it out. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions or anything, hit me up. I will be making a tutorial mode, but those are infamously difficult to make, so I don't know how great that's going to go. So that's why I made a video first. That'll probably take me a month to get that. I'm assuming it'll take me 2 weeks, maybe a month. But anyway, I hope you enjoy playing it. Please give me feedback. Enjoy. How you turn this damn thing off?